Yeah, thank you for being here. I'd love to hear your thoughts on energy policy, but I know we talk a lot about all the above, but I think what's really changing kind of in an unprecedented way here recently are technology revolutions that are occurring either in the production of energy or perhaps more importantly in the use of energy. That gives Americans, I think, a way to play offense in what has been a set of unprecedented challenges.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that?
But Tom, I think you described it well. I am much more optimistic about our ability to get a handle around energy that is good for our economy, good for business, good for consumers, good for job creation, and maybe saves the planet in the process. I'm much more optimistic about that now than I was when I started as president. And a good example is just when you look at what's happened with solar. I mean, we're not quite at Moore's law yet, but the pace at which the unit costs for solar energy have gone down is stunning. We've seen not quite the same pace, but similar progress around wind. Our natural gas production is unprecedented, and I have been very supportive of our natural gas production as being not only important, but also geopolitically. It's a huge recipe for energy independence, as long as we get the methane discharge issues right, and I think there are ways of doing that with sound science. So that's on the production side, and as you said, on the utilization side, all of you are, there's not a company here that is not producing significantly more product with less energy than you were just 10 years ago, and certainly than you were 20 years ago. Everybody here has seen the power of tracking utilization, identifying waste, and timing issues around when is energy expensive, when is energy cheap. So there's enormous progress on the commercial side, and then individual households now with things like Nest or the equivalents, we're able to fine-tune our energy usage in ways that we just haven't seen before. And then you've got the whole transportation sector, in which we've continued to make significant progress in Detroit, as well as upstarts like Tesla. There's still some distribution network issues around the transportation revolution, although companies like UPS are doing a great job, I think, already experimenting with their fleets. So that's all good news. I would say that the big challenge now, if we're going to realize all the potential here, is to work with utilities so that they have a business model in which they're making money while seeing this change in distribution patterns in grid, because I think that there's still some legitimate economic issues there that have to be sorted through. And it's tricky because it's a patchwork system. We don't have one national grid, obviously. The second thing is investment in basic research needs to continue. Battery technology is greatly improved, but we still haven't seen all the breakthroughs that I think that we can make with battery technology that would make a huge difference in storage. And that's an exciting area for development. And then I would urge the BRT, and some of you individually as companies have already done this, view the issue of climate change and the Paris conference is going to be coming up at the end of this year as an opportunity rather than as a problem. Because this is coming. It's coming generationally. If you talk to your kids or my kids, they are much more attuned to this issue. Consumers are going to be caring about it more and more. The environmental effects that we're seeing. I'm going to be calling Jerry Brown later today just to talk about California wildfires. Some of you may have read the snowpack in the Sierra Nevadas, lowest it's been in 500 years. The flooding problems that we're already seeing in places like South Florida, it's just during high tide. Suddenly, billions of dollars of property is underwater. So this is coming. And for us to be out ahead of it and to think about how our ingenuity and our science can solve these problems is going to give us a jump on everybody else. So there is a pledge that some members of the BRT have organized around supporting a strong Paris Agreement. I would encourage you to sign up on that and look for opportunities on this. And that includes, companies that have been in traditional fossil fuel areas, because if you know how to do oil and gas well, you can figure out how to do solar well. You can figure out how to make money doing it. You can figure out how to create efficiencies that help your bottom line. And we've tried to do with the Clean Power Plan is to give states flexibility, understanding everybody's got a different energy mix. So, down south, we approved the first nuclear plant in a generation, basically, because we think nuclear needs to be part of that package. I'm a big believer that there are going to be different ways to skin the cat on this thing. We just have to set a baseline in which all of us understand the direction we need to go. Instead of us spending a lot of time fighting science, let's go with science. We usually do better when we're on the side of facts and evidence and science. Just as a general rule, that's proved to be our strength as Americans.